Hey there, Nicholas here with MedTech World. I've got Discure Technologies, the main man, Yuval Mandelbaum. Great to have you. He's a man who sorts out backs.
Thank you for having me, Nick. Sorting out backs is, we put our back into it.
In a really innovative way, in a non-invasive way. The technology is quite outstanding, really.
Yeah, so the idea is really, in a non-invasive, minimally invasive way, to not just mask the symptoms of back pain, but really solve the problem, treating the disc, healing the disc, restoring function to the disc, the spine, and the person, allowing these people to get rid of the pain, but also get back to their normal lifestyle and the quality of life that they used to have. And really, this type of degeneration just steals so much from life. That's really our goal and target, to get people back to where they want to be and get back to what they love doing.
The discs, is this where most of the back problems are in the discs?
So degenerative disc disease is associated with about 35% of all low back pain cases, so quite significant. Mm-hmm. Degenerative disc disease is extremely prevalent. There are over 400 million people worldwide with symptomatic disc degeneration, so just shocking numbers.
Yeah.
And a great portion of these patients, are just in debilitating, life-changing pain, causing them to lose work, to not be able to play with their kids and be with their family the way that they'd like, to just sit at a desk or drive out to work. Just stealing so much from life. And
this technology, it's in the commercial phase. It's out there already. Is that right?
So we're still in development. We're in a clinical phase. We completed development of the system. We ran 16 preclinical studies to this point. There's no ideal model in animal that represents human disc degeneration, but each different animal model has its own pros and cons. There's no no animal presenting human discogenic pain.
Sure.
So we really do this by cohort, and we did just pretty much everything.
The animals don't work office jobs, or they haven't.
Not really, and some walk on all fours, most of them. But due to that, we really tried and did everything. We treated pigs, sheep, cows, human cadaveric discs in bioreactors that were really freshly harvested from human to mimic as closely as possible to a human condition. And throughout those different trials, we saw really unison results and our ability to treat discs at a degenerative state and take that back to a healthy state. And recently, we have initiated our first in-human clinical trial, implanting first humans in Canada and Italy. So far, the results are really as good as we could have hoped for and wished for. We still have a pathway ahead of us to commercialization and to market approval.
Are we looking 2, 3, 4 years down the line? What's your thoughts, roadmap?
Roundabout, it depends exactly on the path that we decide to take, but roughly 4 years to get to market.
Cool. And in the meantime, you do all of the groundwork to make sure that when everything goes positive in the end, which it has to, right? Everything is good. A lot of people, 400 million people in the world are relying on you getting this right, yeah? So you have the groundwork laid, and coming to events like this, do you find it useful for you?
No, this event is incredible. The feel of community here, and the way that everyone here is so collaborative. I think it's true for MedTech, but it's also the people that MedTech World surrounded us with here, and Lifeblood and their network. There's a real feel of community here and a tightly knit ecosystem. And I gave advice here, I received advice, you find mentors, you get to leverage a lot of experience, a lot of the know-how and knowledge of other people's experience who ran this full pathway from the innovation, ideation, through development, through clinical studies, to market, commercialization. And when we work together, and I think it's quite unique for healthcare, because we all have such a sense of mission in this space. And it's not another game app or something like that. We're not competing really that much for the market share. These are such huge areas of need that the pie is large enough for everyone. And I think most of us at least understand that working together will ultimately allow us to all get to a better outcome.
Outcomes. When you talk to your potential new partners or the people you'll be working with or alongside who might pass you on to the people, when you explain your technology, how it works, this minimally invasive implant, can you give a little snippet of detail of what it is without giving too much away?
No, happy to tell more about it. Really at a high level though, without going too much into the bits and pieces. So our first indication, and so we're developing a medical device, but we do see this as a regenerative medicine platform. And we're looking at disc degeneration as a first indication, but we have pipeline indications across orthopedics from the spine through any synovial joint, if that's a knee or a hip, shoulder, etc. But we are currently laser focused on our first indication. In parallel, we are building out the IP and preclinical for the others, but the team is mostly focused on degeneration, and for good reason. It's one of the largest unmet needs out there. But really, when we look at the disc with disc degeneration, so this is a very large avascular organ, so you don't have any blood supply coming in directly. Rather, what the cells do inside of the nucleus of the disc is they secrete this negatively charged protein that creates a negative charge inside of the center of the disc, and that creates basically an electrical gradient between the outside environment and inside, which creates a pumping effect, drawing fluid because of the polarity of water molecules along with oxygen and nutrients, giving the disc its volume and giving the cells their nourishment. Now that's what happens in a healthy disc. In the disease state, we see these cells tend to die out, producing less of that negatively charged protein, so the disc is neutrally charged. We don't have that gradient anymore, and that pumping function starts to fail. So there's less fluid coming in, the disc deflates, there's less suspension to the spine, less stability. And beyond that, we see that there's less inflow of nutrients and oxygen. So the cells start to starve. They are moving to their anaerobic path, producing more lactic acid, creating burn. And all of this really creates this vicious cycle until the cells die out, the disc dries and collapses. And that is based on literature going about 60 years back. But our innovation is in how to restore that critical fluid dynamic that is critical to maintain the volume of the disc and the health of the cells and tissue. And we inject a minuscule electrode into the center of the disc. This allows us to actively control the negative charge inside of the disc and recreate that pumping function in an actively controlled way. So based on the parameters that we select, we can control the rate of inflow of fluid and oxygen and nutrients, allowing us to repopulate that cell population, allowing them to function better and healing the surrounding tissue, really taking the disc from a disease state and reversing that back to a healthy state.
Well, me for one, I'm going to wait the outcome of these human trials. Excellent having you, Yuval. Thanks for being here. Hopefully,
thank you so much.
It goes really well. All right. Nicholas signing off from MedTech World.